Welcome to Contact Rural Connect's Transition to School for Budget-Based Funded Services. This is brought to you by Children's Services Central, who are currently supporting long day care, out-of-school hours care and vacation care, family day care and occasional care, as well as services approved for budget-based funding, including mobile children's services and multifunctional Aboriginal children's services. You can contact CS Central on 1800 157 818 or check out their website on www.cscentral.org.au. You can alternatively contact us here at Contact on 02 9212 5588. Before you get started, you might like to have access to the following resources: a whiteboard. If you don't have a whiteboard, think about a flip chart or some butcher's paper, some markers, and potentially some blue tack to paint up those great ideas. This session will contain some reflective questions to get you started. This is Module 1 of a 5-module series in the Transition to School program. Firstly, I'd like you to reflect as a team. What is a school transition program? What do you think it is? What makes a successful school transition? What aspects would make a program successful for children to transition to school successfully? And is there a difference between a school transition program and being school ready? Are they the same or are they different? If you'd like to pause this presentation for 5 minutes while you brainstorm your great ideas and write these up to make them visual. So welcome back. By now you may have brainstormed the 3 questions that are currently up on the screen. Let's think about the definition of a transition to school. The transition to kindergarten is fundamentally a matter of establishing a relationship between the home and the school in which the child's development is the key focus or goal. If you notice, we haven't mentioned the service. The reason being, the vital link between home and school will be you, the service. You are the bridge between both what you know about the child and preparing the school for the child that's about to enter their environment. If you were to have a definition, what would be your definition of a transition to school? Now let's think about your context. What other transition programs are you aware of in different communities? Thinking about all the different communities that you might visit, does each community have a school transition program? In your community, how many transition programs exist? And are you currently linking in to a school's transition program? And if not, are there opportunities for you to be able to partner in regards to a school's transition? Write down and brainstorm these ideas. Have a conversation amongst each other to see what existing transition programs might exist. If there's nothing for you to link into, think about in the past years, what have you done in regards to school's transition? Is it something that you've solely done within the service? Have you partnered with the school? What other community organisations have you partnered with to create a successful transition for children into big school? If you've never done it, what things would you put into place in regards to a school's transition? Thinking about, how do we make this child ready for school? And how do we prepare the school for the child? And how do we communicate this to the parent and enable them to be ready for school as well? If you've ever been a parent, or you have had access to parents who have begun school with their child, sometimes the experience is just as traumatic for the parent as it is for the child. There are changes in environment, routines, and expectations, just to name a few. So, what have you done in the past? Have you done something in the past where it's no longer in action? What elements of that can you put into the current school's transition program to be of great assistance to children and families? When we're thinking about budget-based funded services, Thinking about the different types of educational environments that children and families will be transitioning into. You offer a broad range of communities, different access to different types of programs within your settings. Children's schooling will also look very different from an urban perspective. Thinking about, are children transitioning into a traditional school environment, so a primary school? Are they transitioning to a school of the air? Is it homeschooling or distance education? We need to think about the type of transition they may be entering into to best support the child and the parent, as well as the family. Consider also, if they are entering a traditional school environment, are they entering a one-teacher school? Are they entering into composite classes? Is the child transitioning on their own and leaving their friends behind? We need to have consideration of the many different types of environments that children will be transitioning into. This is part of the unique transition program that you will be offering as part of a budget-based funded service. Spend the next couple of minutes and discuss some of the type of environments that children will be transitioning into. Think about in the past how you have supported children transitioning into these environments. It may consist of writing up a tip sheet for families. So, for example, if you're doing distance education and you're living in a remote area, is it useful to inform families to have their resources ready prior to the term begins? Because it's going to take a long time to access those art and craft materials to come to the home or the station. So consider reflecting on the following questions. Spend some time around these. These will be the best platform for you to begin Module 2. So what do you think are the expectations of the school and the teachers in these different environments? What does the school want the child to be able to do? What is the expectations of teachers prior to the child starting school? Sometimes your expectation or what you assume the teacher wants might be very, very different in reality to what they expect. How do you know what their expectations are? Have you consulted with them? What questions do you ask? How do you build the relationship with the primary school teacher as well as the school? You need to know what their expectations are in regards to creating a school-ready child and a school-ready community. So what are your expectations for the children transitioning to school? What do you want from them? What kind of skills or attributes would you like to have developed in the child? And if you've been working with that child for over 5 years or 3 years or 2 years, you know the child incredibly well. Think about their current strengths and what they can do. Focus maybe on some of the differences in the differing environments and how you can best support them to be school ready. We will continue to explore these themes further in modules 2, 3, 4 and 5. But it's important that you start considering these following questions. And think about how you currently consult with teachers and educators within these different school environments. Is it a formal process of meeting and gathering information? Do you share documentation in regards to the child? Is it more a verbal explanation in regards to what your expectations and their expectations are? It's really important to nut out those expectations. Spend time on the 4 questions. As discussed, these will underpin your following conversations in the next existing modules. So let's think about other expectations. What are the expectations of families for the child to be ready? Sometimes we're working with different expectations. It's important to know which expectations are realistically for you to achieve and what's realistic for the child. So we have expectations of you as the service, we have expectations of the teachers and the school, and then we have different expectations of families as well. Sometimes it's difficult to manage all those expectations. So you need to be clear about what yours are and how you're informing yourself of others' expectations. Let's think about a really important stakeholder in regards to a school's transition, and that's the child. What do you think the child's expecting when they start school? What are they excited about? What are they nervous about? What do they think is going to happen when they start big school? It's really important to get the voice of the child when we start considering expectations and thinking about how you identify these expectations. So once you have an understanding of some of these questions, there are resources to support some of those questions. You'll also receive a PDF of this particular presentation, and you can access that from our contact website. A link will be sent to you soon so you can access both the webinar video as well as resources to support Module 1 of the BBF Schools Transition Program series. If you require any further information, please don't hesitate to contact us on 02 9212 5588, or you may also contact us at training with a capital T at contactinc.com.au. Please feel free to join in Module 2, also found on the network on the contact website.